Hi there, you're on Gossip Says channel. Enjoy watching, subscribe and like it. It's growing our community.
Liam, my son, have you decided where you're going to go? We have to send the documents somewhere, Molly asked her son, after her favorite child finally received his diploma. Oh, no, Mom. What study? Enough already. I already know everything I need in life. Liam had just graduated from high school because he was a bum. Teachers somehow pulled him up to the 11th grade and with great joy let him out with a 3-point certificate in his hands. The guy didn't just dislike studying, he fiercely hated and in general was not distinguished and a great attraction to any creative activity, in particular to any labor. But he had grandiose dreams. Liam dreamed that someday in his life would be such a lucky chance that would help him to become rich without much effort. He did not belong to the circle of people who strive to achieve everything in life on their own and reach the heights by their own labor. Why did Liam grow up like that? Who knows? Maybe simply because of the lack of a male example in front of his eyes, which could really be equaled. Molly's mom worked as a choreographer at a children's art school. It so happened that the beautiful, slender, intelligent woman raised her son all alone. Her husband left the family and met another woman when little Liam was not even 2 years old. Molly is a wonderful mother, kind, loving, ready to lay her own life on the altar of her son. That was probably her biggest mistake. She was fixated on her son and did absolutely nothing for him. Demand nothing from the child and completely forget about her personal life. After the departure of her husband, Molly could not let a man into her life, and the boy grew up completely unencumbered by responsibilities, demands, and rules. He was used to his mom owing him and never owing his mom. Liam, let's go to dinner, Molly gently called her son, who was lying on the sofa with his laptop on his stomach. Liam grudgingly paused some computer game and groaned like an old grandfather and lowered his feet to the floor. He fumbled for his slippers and headed for the kitchen. Liam, don't you want to do something serious, because all day long you only sleep? Gently asked his mother, peeling an apple from its peel and cutting it into slices. Something's broken. I'm not a plumber, Liam replied sharply. Molly moved the plate with sandwiches and peeled fruit to her son. Pensively answered, I don't know. Well, at least get a job. All your guys are busy after graduation. Who entered and others earn money, even if it's small, but it's their own. Liam banged his cup sharply and angrily on the table. Why are you always comparing me to someone else, Mom? I have my own life, my own way. I have to think with my own mind. Let them all go to the moon. He didn't like this kind of talk. It made him green with sadness and made him nervous. But his mother did not stop, as if she did not hear the indignation in her son's voice. I heard that your former classmate decided to join the army, and then he will go to the military university. Liam finally got angry and decided to interrupt the senseless conversation. Mom, will you let me eat normally or not? You're always pestering me with your questions. I want this summer off. Then I'll see what to do next. Well, yes, look around. Don't push me. The woman only sighed and shook her head. Dinner continued in complete silence. Molly realized that it shouldn't be like this. Well, it couldn't. A 17-year-old healthy guy lying on the couch all day long and doing nothing but playing computer games. You can't go crazy like that, she thought, reasonably enough. The next day, Molly decided to ask her brother for help. Mason owned a machine shop. Maybe he'd get Liam's nephew to take over, she figured. Mason, please. Liam's a good kid, just looking for himself and his own way. Life is just beginning. I don't want it to go to waste. Let it help you, Molly begged her brother. But Mason knew his nephew too well. Liam is a great bum and a great slacker. He could be in a circus for money just to advertise, to write the laziest man in the world. Just think what he's going to do here. They'll just sit around like he did at school. He doesn't know how to do anything. With all of his might, the man refused to let his young relative go to school. But the sister continued to insist. Well, you're a grown man. Teach him. You know there was no one to teach him. I know him. What should I do now? Is he gonna sit on my neck all his life? Mason, I'm asking you to get Liam a job. Let him carry tools, wash cars at the end of the day, so he doesn't just sit around doing nothing. Oh well, I don't know, Molly. That's when I said I'd take my nephew with me. Let him see what the nuts look like. So what was your answer to me? Oh Mason, he's so little. He's gonna get his hands dirty. My brother got mad. All right, I'll figure something out. I'll call you later. There's a lot of work to do right now. A week later, Mason finally called back and agreed. Okay, let him come over. But here Mother had to gather all her will in a fist because Liam was not happy about the prospect of working as a car mechanic at his uncle's place, where you have to walk in machine oil, twist nuts, and wash other people's cars. But her mother insisted this time. She didn't look like herself. Here's the deal. Either you go to work and bring in the money, or you're gonna go hungry. For the first time in her life, Molly made a firm statement, and she banged her fist on the table. But so loudly and firmly that Liam realized that the prospect of starving to death really loomed on the horizon. Liam sighed and furrowed his eyebrows at his mother, but this time he made no impression on her. I had to start working, and to Molly and Mason's surprise, the ice was breaking. The kid started to do something, started to figure things out. Gradually, the mistakes in his work became less and less, and some repair operations his uncle began to entrust his nephew without any help. Liam had been working in the workshop for several months now, and so far he was happy with everything. Molly was happy that her son was finally getting smart and thanked her brother for his kindness and assistance. Mason had indeed taught his nephew a great deal. Despite his poor performance during his school years, Liam was quick to memorize and catch information on the fly. The boy secretly hoped that if he showed himself well now, then in the future his uncle would take him into his business, and then he could live as he wished. But Mason, though he praised his nephew, promised him nothing of the kind. The man had a young daughter of his own growing up, and he planned to give his business to her or to a potential son-in-law in the future. One day Mason called Liam in the middle of a workday. "So, nephew, listen very carefully. An important client of mine, an old acquaintance of mine, Lisa, is coming in. We went to school together. Why don't you drop what you're doing and meet her properly? I can't make it. Keep the lady entertained. Somehow before I get there." Liam didn't understand at first what the special meeting was about, but then he saw the car in which the woman arrived and was instantly energized. Lisa was filthy rich. Her ex-husband never spared any money on her, and she always got everything she wanted, except for the expensive car. Lisa had a big beauty parlor and a fancy apartment, and it all went to Lisa after she divorced her husband. Liam met the woman very politely, smiling broadly as his uncle had asked, took the lady into Mason's office and gave her coffee, spread his feathers like a peacock. Liam did not lose the opportunity to tell the independent interlocutor more about himself. The guy, trying to please the guest, gave the wish for reality. He embellished his position in the workshop a little and informed about his imminent promotion. "I'm going to be the director soon. I've had enough of sitting here. I'll be in charge of a new location," the young man boasted. The lady, leaving the cup, looked at the guy with undisguised interest. Stupid, of course, but handsome. And so still young, she thought. Soon Mason arrived and sent Liam to work. "My nephew. So Liam, Lisa, and I have some things to discuss." "Good boy. So far, Liam was happy to meet you. Mason, I don't know anything." "Well, you know, there's a lot of noise under the hood. It's impossible to be in the cabin. I can't even answer the phone properly." "You don't have to talk on the phone." While driving, the guy heard his uncle laughing his thick laughter. Lisa Liam liked it. The woman often sinned of having affairs with young ambitious guys, knowing full well what they really wanted from her, although she was still very attractive in appearance. It did not escape her attention that Liam looked at her with rapt attention. When picking up the car after repairs, the woman left Liam a phone number. "Call me if you find the time," Lisa said. The boy's gaze pierced him almost to the liver. That this boy would call her, she didn't doubt for a second. Experience, you know. So Liam started dating his uncle's buddy. It didn't bother him that the woman was twice his age. Lisa took him to restaurants, bought him expensive things, and took him out in public like a strange animal. In general, she did all the same things she had done with every other protege of her predecessor Liam. Molly began to notice a change in her son's behavior. She was concerned that her son had stopped sleeping at home and was becoming rude and arrogant. One day, Molly knocked on the open door of her son's room and amazingly asked Liam, "Have you got a girlfriend?" "Why don't you tell me?" "You don't tell me anything." "I don't think I need to." Liam said dryly and didn't even glance in his mother's direction. He was busy with his correspondence, and the fact that his mother was meddling again annoyed him. But Molly wouldn't let it go. She had a lot more questions for her son. "I see you have a very expensive cell phone. I didn't think Mason would pay you that much. Did he give you a promotion?" the knave woman asked. "Why are you bothering me again? Are you going to leave me alone or not?" The young man quickly jumped up and slammed the door to the room right in front of his mother's face. She barely had time to lean back before the door hit her nose. The woman went to her room in tears. Resentment clutched at her heart with its cold fingers. Molly understood that she herself was to blame for her son's behavior toward her. But she did not want to tolerate his rudeness and insolence any longer and decided to talk to her son seriously. She again took her will in a fist and talked to her son on raised tones and in an ultimatum form. "So my son is all grown up now? Is that it? Oh, good. I see you've got the money, and I'm sure you can get by without me. I insist that you respect me in my house. If you continue to talk to me like that, yell disrespectfully, and close the door in my face, I will throw your stuff out the door. If you're such an adult, live on your own." Molly thought Liam would freak out like he did then with work and apologize. But instead of apologizing, son showed absolute indifference and said, "Yes, I myself have long been going to move out. I'm fed up with you." It should be said that Liam was getting more and more insolent every day, not only at home of his mother, but also in the workshop. The guy hadn't done anything lately and acted like a boss in his uncle's absence. He commanded everyone and walked around with his hands in his pockets. Mason was extremely dissatisfied with his nephew's work and constantly made remarks. "So I didn't realize you were on the phone again. A job or something?" No, Uncle Liam was always arguing. Tired of complaints and relatives, he decided to quit, instead of thanking him for his science for helping him get a job. Liam finally yelled at his uncle and said, "I wish I'd never come to this shithole. I'll never even wash my car here. Oh, you ungrateful puppy, get out of here, you dumbass, before I kick your ass. If it wasn't for my sister, I'd have given you a good belt for 3 days." For a while, the guy arranged himself to live with Lisa in his uncle's workshop, but now he didn't have to do anything to live in chocolate. The woman provided for him completely and even let him drive her expensive car sometimes. But Lisa was not the type to let anyone sit on her neck. A proud, willful, and selfish woman. Soon she got tired of the guy sitting around like a parasite doing nothing. Contrary to Liam's expectations that Lisa loves him and will not go anywhere. This woman has always had a lot of admirers, so she was not afraid to be without a man. She was going to break up with Liam before, but something kept stopping her. She didn't know. Was it pity? He was too stupid and unfit. He was in her life. She was just waiting for an excuse to break up. One day, when Lisa was celebrating a friend's birthday, at one of the best restaurants in town, she met a nice man. He was the single companion of her friend's husband. Their age, Lisa and Jacob chatted quite animatedly all evening. They liked each other very much. The woman realized that this was the man with whom she was ready to build a stable, reliable relationship. It's worth a shot. He looks great. He knows how to make money. He's smart. He's got a lot to talk about. And he seems to like me. What more do you want? She thought. That evening, Jacob walked Lisa home and invited her to dinner. The woman went up to the apartment very happy, but when she saw Liam's bum, she was upset, changing her silk robe and slippers. Lisa turned to the guy without any curtsies. "Listen, my dear young friend, I've had enough of you. Tomorrow morning, you'll pack your things and go to your mother's. We've played enough. That's enough. You've lived on my dime, and this is for your inconvenience. Buy yourself whatever you want." She put a thin wad of green bills on the sofa. Liam was furious. He didn't even have time to say anything before Lisa slammed the door to her room right in his face, just like he had just recently slammed the door in front of his mom. The boy sat motionless for several minutes, unable to hold back the tears. His hopes for a bright, carefree future were shattered in 1 second. He freaked out, packed his things, and left without waiting for morning. The failed Alphonse spent the night in a hotel, and then rented a small apartment on the money that was on the card once given to Lisa. But when 2 days later the poor man went to the store to buy food, it turned out that the account was blocked and he could no longer use the card. There wasn't much cash left, but it was enough to pay for the groceries. Liam did not know what to do. He thought feverishly about his future. He had ruined his relationship with his family. He had no job. He wouldn't go to his uncle's house. He didn't want to call his mom because he'd hurt her feelings. He should apologize, but he didn't know how to do that. Liam didn't have many friends. They all turned away. I mean, he was always pushing his money around. He talked down to everyone and laughed at poor students who never had any money. Now Liam was all alone and couldn't think of anything. He had to live on something. He should look for another rich mom somewhere. Just where did Liam think?